Here we go again. How Chelsea reached the Club World Cup final. Chelsea could be crowned world champions for the second time this Sunday as we face Paris Saint-Germain in the Club World Cup final at MetLife Stadium. It's been some journey. Our place in the 2025 Club World Cup, revamped to include 32 teams and moved to the summer, was secured more than 4 years ago. It was that night in Porto which earned the Blues a spot, with the previous 4 Champions League winners invited to the tournament. Enzo Maresca's side were drawn into Group D, which reflected the truly global nature of the competition. It included Flamengo from Brazil, Tunisian side ES Tunis, and MLS club Los Angeles FC. It was against the latter that our Club World Cup campaign began, Chelsea 2-0 LAFC Group D Mercedes-Benz Stadium. After a couple of days in Philadelphia, where the Blues were based for the majority of the group stage, a short plane ride was taken to Atlanta for our tournament opener. It went largely to plan for Maresca and his players. Pedro Neto opened the scoring for the Blues with a fine turn and finish after being put through by Nicholas Jackson, before summer signing Liam Delap was introduced in the second period and delivered an excellent cross for Enzo Fernandez to fire home. Another debut was awarded in the final minutes as Dario Isugo replaced Moises Caicedo to ensure the Blues made a winning start to the tournament. It was then back to Philadelphia, where our remaining 2 Group D matches would take place. Flamengo 3-1 Chelsea Group D Lincoln Financial Field. Shortly after the Blues returned to the city of brotherly love, a heat wave ensnared the East Coast. Temperatures reached 39 degrees Celsius, which forced Maresca to shorten his training sessions and, arguably, favored sides more acclimatized to the sweltering temperatures. One of those, Flamengo, were next up at Lincoln Financial Field. The Blues made a strong start as Pedro Neto took advantage of a defensive mistake to put us ahead inside 13 minutes, but the Brazilian side responded after the interval. Bruno Henrique leveled the game just after the hour mark, and Danilo added a second 3 minutes later. Nicholas Jackson was then dismissed, and Flamengo added a third goal late on to secure their victory. With group positions decided on a head-to-head basis, it meant we could no longer finish top. ES Tunis, 0-2, Chelsea Group D, Lincoln Financial Field. If the Blues could avoid defeat against the Tunisian champions, a place in the knockout stage was assured. Maresca opted to make several changes to his side, with Philip Jorgensen, Josh Akeampong, Benoit Badiashile, and Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, featuring for the first time at the tournament. Tunis didn't make it easy, but Tosin broke the deadlock in first-half stoppage time with a header from an Enzo Fernandez free kick. Delap added an instant second, a stunning pirouette, touch and finish, to open his Blues account. Maresca's side controlled the second period and, in the final moments, added gloss to the scoreline as Tariq George came off the bench to net his first of the tournament. Our place in the round of 16 was secure. Benfica 1-4. Chelsea round of 16. Bank of America Stadium, Miami, was our base for the following 9 days. The Blues trained in the Magic City and then traveled to Charlotte, North Carolina for our first game against European opposition. It proved a game that, for several reasons, will live long in the memories of supporters. Having controlled the opening half, the deadlock was broken in the 64th minute when skipper Reece James whipped home a free kick. We looked all set for victory until a thunderstorm in the area forced the game to be suspended. Almost 2 hours passed before play resumed, and there was a late twist as Benfica were awarded a controversial 95th penalty following a VAR review, which Angel Di Maria converted. Extra time was needed. Early into the additional 30 minutes, Benfica forward Gianluca Prestiani was dismissed. We then took full control and goals from Christopher Nkunku, Pedro Neto, and Dewsbury-Hall ensured our victory, and a game that kicked off at 4 p.m. local time was finally brought to a close just before 9 p.m. Palmeiras 1-2, Chelsea quarter-final, Lincoln Financial Field. It was back to Philadelphia for our last 8 encounter, and for the second time in the tournament, we faced Brazilian opposition. Reaching the semi-finals was the target, but there was also intrigue as to how future Blue Estival would perform. We made a strong start as an excellent pass from Trevo Chalobah enabled Cole Palmer to spin away, avoid two defenders, and pass the ball home with 16 minutes on the clock. Further chances came and went for the Blues, yet they weren't taken. And after half-time, Estevao showcased his quality by drilling a shot beyond Robert Sanchez via the crossbar. It was a wonderful strike from the 18-year-old. Possible for any manager in the world to make a session with 45 players. It's impossible. You cannot do that. Chelsea successfully managed players' minutes as they juggled their top 4 Premier League finish with their Europa Conference League triumph last season. However, one area the Blues were deemed to be lacking was competition for Nicholas Jackson up front, which the club have addressed through the signings of Delap and Pedro. Pedro was quickly introduced to first-team action against Palmeiras, even though the forward had been enjoying time off before completing his transfer. Explaining his decision post-match, Maresca said, "Yes, since he arrived, the reason why we decided for him is because since he arrived, even if he was on holiday, he looks sharp, he looks good." Chelsea's qualification for the Champions League and desire to compete in the Premier League and domestic cups should offer plenty of opportunities for Delap, Jackson, and Pedro to stake their respective claims. Former Watford and Brighton star Pedro has his sights set on bringing more success to Stamford Bridge. "I was one of the ones to watch Chelsea. They had brilliant players in the past, have brilliant players now. It's a big club. I think that's why I chose to join Chelsea," Pedro said after signing for the club. "I grew up watching the Premier League, and Chelsea were a club that won trophies. So, when you join Chelsea, you can only think one thing: to win trophies. Every competition, you have to think, I play for Chelsea, and that is my ambition." Chelsea have made a 5th signing of the summer in bringing the Borussia Dortmund star to the club. Jamie Gittins has become Chelsea's 5th signing of the summer, penning a 7-year deal with the Blues after completing a £52 million move from Borussia Dortmund. Gittins joins Dario Isugo, Mamadou Sarr, Liam Delap, and João Pedro as new additions to Enzo Maresca's squad for the 2025-26 campaign. The 20-year-old was one of the Blues' top targets to fill the wide position this summer, and they have got their man. Gittins has joined up with his new teammates in the United States of America and was even spotted on the pitch with the Blues at the end of their Club World Cup quarter-final win over Palmeiras on Friday, Saturday morning UK time. The winger was already out in the States, having been part of the Dortmund squad for the tournament. And unlike João Pedro, Chelsea are not able to call on Gittins during what is left of their Club World Cup campaign. He was named in Dortmund's squad for the tournament, which ruled him out of playing for the Blues despite the second registration window. Gittins scored 12 goals and laid on 5 assists in 49 appearances for the Black and Yellow last season, and will now battle for a spot in Maresca's front line alongside Pedro Neto, Noni Madueke, who has been linked with an exit from Stamford Bridge, fellow new boy João Pedro, and Christopher Nkunku, who has also been linked with an exit from the club. Chelsea announced the deal from their base in America, with Gittins delivering a short message upon signing with the Blues. He said, "It feels great. It's a great feeling to join such a big club as Chelsea. I can't wait to learn from everyone in the team and to push myself to the max here. It's an amazing feeling."